The power of relentless belief. Build a mind the world can't break. They don't tell you this in school. That most of life's battles aren't fought on streets or stages, they're fought in silence, inside your own mind. That the loudest voice you'll ever hear is the one that whispers you're not enough. That success has nothing to do with your birth, your bank account, or your so-called talent, but everything to do with the beliefs you are willing to plant, nurture, and protect like sacred fire long before the world sees any light. You see, most people are taught to survive, to play small, to color inside the lines. But survival is not why you were born. You were born to create, to overcome, to lead, to transform. And you will never touch the heights of your own life until you stop waiting for the world to believe in you and start believing in yourself so completely, so unapologetically, that the world has no choice but to catch up. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not maybe, not sometimes, can, always." That's not a slogan. That's a law, like gravity. The problem is, most people never believe long enough. They stop just short of the miracle. They get tired, distracted, talked out of their greatness by people who never tasted their own. But if you're willing to hold your belief longer than your fear, longer than the rejection, the ridicule, the silence, if you can do that, you will become unstoppable. The battle begins with mindset. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about a forged mind, a battlefield-tempered, steel-reinforced conviction that doesn't crumble under pressure. The kind of mindset Edison had when he failed 10,000 times before he lit a single bulb. The kind of mental fire Harriet Tubman carried through slave fields and freedom trails. The kind that doesn't ask, "Is it possible?" but declares, "I will, or I will die trying." That kind of mind cannot be inherited. It must be built, one belief at a time, 1 hour of focus while the world sleeps, one decision to rise again after every fall. You build it when you wake up with nothing but still choose to act like you own the outcome. You build it when the people closest to you don't understand and you move forward anyway. Belief is not a wish, it's a weapon. And when you wield it right, no defeat is permanent. Because belief isn't about denying the storm, it's about becoming the kind of person who walks through it and never bows. You think Martin Luther King Jr. didn't feel fear? You think Walt Disney didn't face bankruptcy, ridicule, betrayal? They did. But they were loyal to the vision they saw in their minds, not the conditions they saw with their eyes. What separates the few who rise from the many who fade is not fate, it's faith. Faith not in religion, but in their ability to change what they see by changing how they see. The moment you stop treating your mind like a victim and start treating it like a creator, everything changes. Because the world bends to the determined, every empire began as a thought. Every revolution, a whisper. Every legacy, a choice. And belief doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't look around the room to check if others are clapping. It moves. It builds. It shows up, day after day, brick by invisible brick, until what was once in your imagination stands tall in the world. That's how Ford built more than a car company. That's how Lincoln held a fractured nation together with nothing but a voice and a spine of granite. That's how every underdog turns prophecy into progress by refusing to let the world tell them who they are. But belief alone is not enough. It must be paired with vision. Clear, ruthless, burning vision. You can't hit a target you won't define. You can't build a future you won't dare to imagine. And most people never fail because they aimed too high. They fail because they never aimed at all. They wandered, they waited, they watered every voice but their own. So define it in vivid detail. What does success look like, feel like, smell like? Who will you become when your belief is fulfilled? See it, speak it, write it. Make it real long before it exists. Because that vision becomes your compass when the road gets dark. And it will get dark. But discipline is what keeps the flame alive when motivation dies. Let's be real, motivation is cheap. It comes and goes. Discipline is divine. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do, long after the mood has left your body. Discipline is the invisible hand that separates dreamers from builders. You think Carnegie rose from rags to riches by getting hyped once a week? Number? He woke up daily and outworked his excuses. That's the cost. and most aren't willing to pay it. But if you are, if you can show up again and again and again, something incredible happens. Momentum. And momentum is sacred. It multiplies everything. A little belief becomes unshakable confidence. A small win becomes a wave. The mind begins to trust itself. And that's when action becomes instinct, not obligation. You move not because you have to, but because you no longer know how not to. But here's the secret the world won't tell you. You will still fall. You will still be broken, tired, misunderstood. And that's okay, because resilience isn't about never falling. It's about building the kind of mind that refuses to stay down, that gets stronger with every fall, that takes every scar and turns it into armor. The kind of mind that stares down adversity and says, I was born for this. You will adapt. You will outgrow the pain. You will look back at what once broke you and thank it, because it didn't come to destroy you, it came to shape you. Every delay, every loss, every unanswered prayer, they're not punishments, they're preparation. They're the universe asking, how bad do you really want this? And in those quiet hours, the ones where doubt wraps around you like a fog, lean on gratitude. Not fake gratitude. Deep, visceral, tear-welling gratitude. Gratitude that even in the middle of your becoming, you are alive, you are breathing, you are capable. Gratitude that reminds you of how far you've already come. Because gratitude doesn't weaken the dream. It fuels it. It aligns your mind with abundance, not lack. It teaches you to see possibilities, not problems. But above all, keep learning, stay humble, because belief without growth becomes ego. And ego is the enemy of evolution. Learn from failure. Learn from those ahead of you. Learn from silence. Learn from the critics. They're just proof you're rising. And when you learn, truly learn not to impress, not to pretend, but to transform, you begin to walk through life with a power no one can take from you. This isn't about being the best in the world. It's about becoming the best version of the person you were created to be, a version that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't chase approval. A version that stands so tall in belief, the world reshapes around your presence. You were never meant to live on your knees, begging for scraps of success. You were built to rise, to lead, to leave something behind that echoes. And all of it, every inch of the life you dream about, begins with a mind the world cannot break. So build it, relentlessly,